Well, I certainly do not support eminent domain for private gain. I think that is a mistake that our Supreme Court made some time ago, and I don't support that idea or that concept at all. With that in mind, with respect to the pipeline, I think that I would like to see the communities inside the 43rd district that we represent or hope to represent, along with surrounding counties, get together with state and local officials to plan the appropriate route, because unfortunately, whether we want it or not, I think that it's likely to come at some point, whether it be through a federal level dealing with an eminent domain situation. So I think that it's important that we all band together now and try to figure out where it should go if it's going to come, because I don't know that there's an alternative to it coming. I'd just like to have as much input on a local level as we possibly can to see that it goes in a place that causes the least interference with the natural beauty that we have around here, and cause the least interference with tourism in this area. Now, as it relates to the second part of your question, I think yes. The answer is yes. We do have too much of a dependence on fossil fuels in West Virginia, and I don't think that as we look forward, that is going to be sustainable in the long haul. I think on a national level we see every day a movement to try to move this country more towards different sources of energy, and that's going to continue. So West Virginia as a state, I don't think can plan maybe for the next 5 or 10 years, but not 20, 30, 50 years into the future with respect to the reliance on fossil fuels that we have in the past.
Thank you. Mr. Kyle.
Let me start by saying I truly believe that we can be good stewards of our environment while not holding up economic progress. I do support that pipeline with some direction and the right leadership. I believe that the gas that's in our state here as a natural resource is not worth any money if we can't get it out of the ground and get it to market. So I do support that pipeline, but I agree that we need leadership that helps put that pipeline in a path that causes the least amount of public problem and the least amount of turmoil and damage. But I also believe that the companies that are getting those resources that we have should be forced to reinvest some in West Virginia, and we should get the most value out of those resources that we can. That there is a cracker plant up in Parkersburg going in. We've lost at least four coal-powered power plants. Why not put some of those gas-powered power plants back in West Virginia that will put our citizens back to work and provide future jobs to replace the coal jobs that we're losing? We need to get the most benefit out of that gas, not just to let it leave our state and other companies capitalize on it.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Moore.
Let's look at it this way. I've got people that come into the retail store there at Elkins at the Napa store every day, and I had a young gentleman come in and he said, "I'm a coal miner." He said, "I depend on that job to feed my family and pay my bills." Now, is West Virginia I guess is coal a high priority for West Virginia at this point? Yes, because there's a lot of jobs that are being lost due to regulations that were put up by the Obama administration and other departments like the DEP and EPA. As far as the pipeline is concerned, we need to get it here. With respect that when those folks come through to put that pipeline in, that they get permission before that they can go onto somebody's property and just start cutting through their land to lay that pipeline. But I do believe in order to gain an economic growth in this state, we need that pipeline to come through, because right now the coal is just, it's put under. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that on the Tony Caridi show, he had a gentleman actually say that coal is going to be cut back to less than 30% of the state's gross economic value. Well, my dad is with me here in the studio this evening, and he was a coal miner for, between 10 and 17 years. So, when he lost his job in '84, it just brings back memories of that gentleman that come into the store and asked, "What am I going to do now?" So bringing the pipeline in, And training that gentleman to be able to work on that pipeline is going to give him the opportunity to support his family once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hartman.
Thank you. We have, I think, 8 pipelines in the state that are under consideration right now. And in my opinion, each one of those pipelines should be built. I think we're absolutely going to have to rely on natural gas for at least the immediate future. I've heard that this West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania, and Eastern Ohio referred to as the Saudi Arabia of this hemisphere, and I think we have to take advantage of it. I think Dominion's doing everything they can to, you know, they keep moving that route of the pipeline, and I understand. I talked to the gentleman just this morning that maybe they've helped some of the folks up at Mingo that have some objections as far as historic damage and that kind of thing. But I think that the pipeline does have to be built. I think that everybody has to be at the table as we deal with where it's built. The reason we're having the big issue right now in southern Randolph County and northern Pocahontas County is because of the Forest Service. You know, they've moved it to try to avoid as much Forest Service land as they can, and I think Dominion is being very thoughtful as they move forward. They don't want any more public outcry than they can avoid, and I think that they must be built. I heard a representative from Dominion say that when that Atlantic Coast pipeline was finished and running at full speed, that it would create almost $1 million a week in severance tax.
Okay, we'll begin with Mr. Kyle. Does the state legislature provide sufficient support to rural county school systems like Pocahontas County? And if not, what legislation would you propose to correct that?